Paul Simon grew up about 10 miles from me. He was in Queens, I grew up on Long Island, and he wrote a song called Kodachrome. And the opening line of Kodachrome is, when I think back on all the crap I learned in high school, it's a miracle I can think at all. And that was my high school experience.
David is a man of vision and persistence and hard work, and I think that I'm tempted to say he can do almost anything.
I have a personal view of David that he is one of the brightest people in the state.
I had sort of a Ferris Bueller sort of asymmetric warfare relationship with high school. But there was like one notable exception to that rule. And he taught AP English, and his name was Kenneth Jenkins. He was a complete epiphany to me in terms of what education could be about. 40 years later, when I was wanting to do this school, a huge part of it was about the idea that everybody has enormous potential, and we should create a school that sort of tries to open that potential for everybody. And that this is basically, 50 years after the fact, sort of my paying it forward for Mr. Jenkins. The origin of DSST is that Bill Owens, when he was governor, had a conversation with Bill Gates. So Bill Gates made a commitment to do a catalyst grant to create 4 high technology urban lab schools. And the idea was to do a couple of things. Number one was to create the premier science and math school and public school in the state. And the second was to serve underserved populations.
Education is very deep in David's thinking and his DNA and in his own life and the way he raised his children.
He does understand the intersection of science and education.
But the fact that David was trying for disadvantaged children to lift them up is, I think, incredibly important. Anybody can be interested in education when it has to go, which school do your kids go to? But creating a school for other kids to go to that are socioeconomically challenged, that is just exceptional.
And the belief was that if we created a school like that, and we did it in Denver, that we'd be drawing a line in the sand if we succeeded, and the conversation would change from whether it's possible to do schools where every child could succeed at that level to how come every school in the district isn't doing this with their kids, which is really how the conversation has changed over the last 10 years. And we've played a large part in changing that conversation. But I think it's really important to say that one of the reasons why DSST has been successful is because we've had this fantastic collaborative relationship with Denver Public Schools. They've been incredibly supportive from day one. Why does DSST look the way it does? And we basically said, okay, we're going to design this place to do 2 things. One, because it's going to be a wireless school, everybody's going to have laptops. We're going to have carpeting. We're going to have soft furnishings. Kids can sit on the floor, right? You can sit anywhere if you've got laptops. Number 2, we're going to make it a school as a lab. We're going to have every piece of this school revealed because this is a school about engineering, and you're going to understand, how a building is built. And then the third thing we're going to do is we're going to put in cool colors. So I think, kids, they know, you walk into this building, you know what the purpose of this building is, you know that it's a serious place, but you also know that it's sort of designed for them, it's not designed for the grown-ups. All through my career, I just was fortunate enough to, my first real job was with Dick Lamb when he was governor.
Well, the exciting thing about David Greenberg is the fact that he left the administration and then sort of like as an institutional Johnny Appleseed, he went around planting these different organizations and then sort of helped them bloom and then left to do some other creative thing.
Obviously, he's concerned for children. He was president of the Denver Children's Museum, along has worked a lot with his wife, Carrie, on these matters involving kids.
If we want to make a national impact on education, Then we create schools like DSST. We help Denver Public Schools become the best school district in urban America. And then you watch the entire country look to Denver to change itself. So we have complete leverage. We can do anything we want in Colorado if we put our mind to it.
I think these kids coming out of Denver Science and Technology are going to make a real contribution.
It's a remarkable story, and it's not over yet. David is still out planting institutional seeds.
I think the DSST stands for the proposition that all kids, with the right encouragement, can live up to their potential. And it proves it every day.